Yelling at Robots, episode 3. Action!
Get ready. It's time for world-famous Yelling at Robots, starring tech legend Joshua Raphael Reynolds and Ian Thelonious Fosbury. The show starts now.
Today's episode, Foz, what do we got cooking today? What happened in AI this week?
I was only listening to it secondhand from another podcast that I was listening to right before this.
I'm happy to benefit from their work. Don't worry.
The internet is getting a little ahead of itself, I think, with this openclaw shit.
Yep.
And so what I was saying is that I was saying it's this kind of, it feels very Skynet-y, but not in that we're gonna have, the fucking thing's gonna come online and the nuclear bomb is gonna go off. But what I think that the robots will need when they take over is information on everyone. Mm-hmm. And people are just out there just just shoveling shoveling their life datas into the fucking robots like bucket right now. Yeah. It is insane. The fact that anyone would install this thing on their computer,
give it all the keys,
that knows anything about like passwords, privacy, or security, is mind blowing.
It's really great. I'm really enjoying it.
It is such a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
The one woman who's like the head of AI and safety or whatever at Meta.
Yeah. The
thing almost
I can't remember exactly what her name is. Yeah.
The thing almost deleted all of her emails.
Yeah.
She had to run to her Mac Mini like she was defusing a bomb and unplug it.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful.
Oh God. There's just absolutely no security considerations with this thing whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it is so I guess this is all to say, if you are listening to this podcast and aren't one of our friends and are thinking of using openclaw, stop.
Definitely do it. Check the show notes, folks, for an installation guide. Follow along. Install as quickly as you can. This thing's going to automate your life away. Are you tired of working? Try openclaw. Don't like openclaw? Try nanoclaw.
Use coupon code Yelling at Robots.
Use discount code Yelling at Robots for 3 extra claws. 2 claws for the price of 1. I mean, it's...
If you want to speed run destroying your life and putting your information on the internet, install openclaw.
Yeah. Having trouble spending all your tokens for your Claude Max subscription? Don't worry, we can help. It's called openclaw. That's
true.
Yeah. Actually,
Josh, you have been complaining about that. Maybe we do that instead. Maybe we call an audible and we just install openclaw on your computer.
I mean, I'm onto my computer. No.
Well, you're the one with the Max account. I don't have a Max account, so.
I'm sure a lot of cool shit happens when you install openclaw. A lot of cool shit happens and it feels real good. It's like, and I taste it. I can taste the freedom of just the robots doing it all. But guess what? Like, we ain't there, motherfuckers. We ain't even close.
Yeah.
And it's like the robots, you can taste the freedom of the robots doing it all until they compact their memory because they're out of tokens and they forget, like...
Along with all of your emails before February 15th.
Well, yeah, it's just like, and then I mean that's at least that's the speculation for what happened for this Meta employee was that like her instructions, which were just in context window instructions, got compacted, and then the bot was just like had no indication of what not to do, and I don't. So, whoops,
oopsies.
Thus. Today, we actually have something to do. Something real to do.
I'm excited.
We're going to look at code.
For the content. This is going to be when I'm like, this is episode 3. You know in an HBO series when they're like, oh, you got to get into it. You got the first 2 episodes. You just got to hang in there.
Hang in.
This is where it pops.
Well, maybe. It's a big maybe.
Or not.
Yeah. Or it could... Or it's just kind of like...
Or maybe it's episode 6. I don't know.
Or maybe it's in episode 3 when you're like, you know what? I'm not going to keep watching this. It's basically like Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. It's like, you know what? I don't think this thing is going to come around, actually. No offense, Paramount. Congratulations on the acquisition. So where would you like to begin? I had written up a brief.
I think maybe you said. I think you said that we would read the prompt first because
Sure.
I don't know what you asked it to do. So I think that's probably a good idea. And also
to
for
be
the
honest,
listeners.
Yep, sounds good. And we'll read it out loud for those of you who are joining us purely through your ear holes. Yep. So let me fire up Claude. Now this one, I think. I was also playing around. And it's cheese and crackers. It's just like Claude Code. You can use Claude Code in your Claude app, or you can use Claude Code on the command line, and you can use Claude Cowork on the command line. I think you mentioned kind of like Claude being a React app, and it does feel like there's a little bit of an incoherent nature to all the things you can do. In
Claude, yeah. Well, just the giant organization, different teams building the different parts of it.
No,
I don't need to tell this guy. This guy knows all about it.
This guy, or are you pointing at yourself with a thumb? Oh yeah, no,
I'm pointing
I know
at you.
all about. Oh yeah. Oh. We've been burned. We've been hurt. Both Ian and I have been deeply, deeply hurt in the past.
Yeah, I guess this guy knows too.
Wait a minute.
Also pointing at myself.
Okay, stop.
These guys know. Are you you're not sharing your screen yet?
I'm not sharing my screen yet. You are correct. In case you were wondering. Now, should I share my screen or should I share apps? Thoughts? I'll share the screen. I'll share the full screen. I have nothing to hide. Except I do have a Moltbot running in the background, so things could get fucked up.
Stealing any and all secrets that are shared on the screen.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. How's it looking?
Okay, so what do we got? Planned sourdough bakery management.
Yes. So this one I did set up a Claude Code, and how's the font size here? Readable?
It's okay. It is pixelated, but once again, you're going to read it, so it'll come through eventually.
Alrighty, so let's go up to the top here. Use XP and DDD.
Oh wow, you really? Oh, this is a back and forth. Okay, gotcha.
Well, the rest is just the bot talking me through its thinking process. Thanks, thank you, robot.
Yes.
Thanks for keeping me in the loop and being so communicative. So my prompt: use XP and DDD to create a plan. Oh, so this one I was kind of trying to take the approach of have the bot make a plan, and then I can actually QA the plan, and then the bot does the plan. So I can adjust, this is spec-driven development as it is often known. Use XP and DDD to create a plan to build an application for boutique sourdough bread bakery management. Software is primarily for managing the production of sourdough bread. Bread is produced on a daily basis using recipes and is set to produce a number of loaves. The software takes the desired production for a given day and works its way backwards to calculate the quantities needed. The software will need to take into account the fact that on a given day you are also producing the sourdough to be used for the next day. Now, sourdough, my friend, is not a non-trivial problem space. So let's see. Yeah, so the bot did stuff. I don't know how much.
Why is it saying it's exploring the code base to understand, but there is no code base yet, is there?
No, there was not. So I used this on Claude Codes in the Claude application, and then I shared an empty repository with it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I gave it a directory to work in, and yes, at first
tried to trip up the bot.
But let's take a look at what its findings were. It's talking us through what it did. Based on my thorough exploration of this directory, here are my findings. The directory is currently empty. So that was it did a lot of
way to go, robot. Yeah, nailed it.
No, I'm not gonna hold it. I'm not gonna hold it to task for that. Oh yeah, so then it asked me some questions in terms of kind of what programming language I wanted to use, and this is something that Claude does fairly well. I don't know if you've used this aspect of it, but it has like a user interface giving you multiple choice questions. It kind of like,
is that in the chat layer of the application?
Yes, it's in the application layer, so it's not LLM related. Right. It is a tool that the LLM has access to, and the LLM has instructions on how to use the tool, or
and says ask them these questions kind of as the next step.
It will say I want to use the question asking tool, and here's the options I want to know, and then the software.
Right. I wonder if there's some kind of standardization around that, because I recently upgraded opencode, and it started doing the same thing. Yeah.
There
So it actually
is.
and it does it groups it too. So you get you don't just get like the multiple choice questions, but I might get like 4 tabs in regards
Yes.
to
Yep.
various
And you're kind of-
aspects of what you're asking.
And you're
Yeah.
getting asked questions in a series of just kind of like the
Yeah,
first question,
so you
the
select,
next question.
and
yeah.
then some of those questions are like choose one. Some of those questions are choose all that apply.
Yeah.
So what did this
so-
thing ask you? What did and what did you answer?
It asked me what programming language I wanted to know, what kind of interface I wanted, whether it was a web application or a single page application. I mean, in its mind, I think web application meant API because that's what it made. I said web application. It asked me some questions about the bakery itself, like whether it was making multiple kinds of bread, whether the bread schedule varied on a day-by-day basis. So is it making the same kinds of bread every day, or is the production change on a day-to-day basis? I was I was a little surprised. Oh, and I think I don't see in here, I don't actually see, and maybe this was built into it, because I'm trying to see, like, you know, that. So for those of you who are just listening, we're kind of scrolling through the implementation here, but it also used the web quite a bit during this, and I don't see that in its.
So it went and did research.
It did a lot of
on
research,
internets.
indeed. Yeah, and
Got it.
that's something interesting, and that's something I would prefer to see in here. This is just feedback for the makers of Claude, who I'm sure are active listeners to Yelling at Robots. As makers of robots, we are their #1 user base. No, but I would like to see kind of like what it got off the web, and
Yeah.
I mean that's because that's relevant. But it did
Yeah,
do
yeah,
a lot
for
of it did a lot of research on bread baking, and then it asked me a question about calculating the loaves to ingredients, whether it should track the basically the starter feeding schedule or just calculate ingredients qualities, and then I said it should track starter feeding as well.
What is sorry, and just for those of us who aren't fully familiar with sourdough, I know that there's
Yeah.
a thing about starter. What is the feeding?
So basically, the way that bread, and this is relevant for the application, the way that sourdough baking works is you're kind of doing 2 things on a given day. You start the day with a large quantity of starter. So this is what's going to kick off your bread production process, and you mix that starter with flour and water and do stuff and then shape loaves, and then that you basically put those loaves in a little basket, and that goes in the refrigerator overnight, and then and you bake it the next day. So
Got it.
after
and
you
the starter is like the yeast and
it's the inception dough. It's the dough before the dough. And it's the thing. Well, that's the thing. I'm like, I'm kind of just talking, like, how do I explain this to, like, a really ignorant person? No. No.
but then we start getting into am I pro-choice or am I pro-life? Starter.
Like, is it murder to throw out starter?
Is it murder to
Yes.
throw out?
It's definitely starter. Although you can make pancakes with it, and it is delicious.
Oh.
But actually, so
I
there's
wish I could eat more bread.
So there's 2 things that you're doing. You're using this starter. It is basically like a very high yeast, to flour ratio, and it's the thing that basically is just ideally it's really vibrant yeast. It's super alive, and then when you mix the bread, it's just gonna like go to town because it's just food, and it's like yeah. And then when it goes to town, it's farting constantly, and the farting is what makes your bread rise. I mean, this is it, folks. Sourdough bread, you're eating yeast farts. That's it. So farts. I got yeast farts. Yeah.
Tasty fun.
And it is delicious. It is delicious. And the sourness. Okay, now I'm going down too much of a technical sourdough.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stop. So,
we get it. You worked at a bakery. Okay.
So the last thing you do in the production, so you've kind of used up a lot of the starter, and you've calculated it so you start with some quantity, and you've calculated it so you end with a very small amount of quantity, and then you feed that starter for the next day's production. So you basically feed it and the ratios are quite different to bread. It's usually much more wet. You add a lot more water because it helps it eat more quickly, and you also leave the starter in room temperature, so it's really just like super active doing a bunch of stuff, and you leave it overnight, and then that becomes your starter for the next day.
Got it.
So the ingredients for the day are starter, flour, water, and the output for the day is loaves, but also the starter for the next day's production. So it's actually the starter for 2 days that will be in the bread 2 days from that day. So it's not like, long story short, there's a little bit of complexity in terms of just like managing ingredients and ratios through time, because you're kind of 1 day ahead of the game, blah, blah, blah. Was that helpful?
Got it.
Should we take that from the top?
Yes,
Definitely
very much so.
not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
No.
Do not take that from the top. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was just asking me questions about that. Asked me whether it should do ingredients as like percentage. This is kind of some. It asked me a lot of very specific baking questions, which was a bit surprising because it actually seemed to understand the domain or got into the domain pretty well. Asked me what Python framework I wanted to use, what I wanted storage to be. I said I wanted it to produce the starter for the next day. Asked me about like the production day itself, so just kind of doing some domain investigation, exploration, and then finally came up with a plan, which let's see, bread map or implementation plan was to do a model. Had a single context. Oh, this is also, I guess, like, why did I say DDD? Like, why didn't I just say XP? Why did I say DDD? For me, DDD.
Well, because
like,
why? Because are you just like, fuck it? This thing's gonna be managing its own code anyway, so it's not my problem.
I don't know. It was because, like, for me, I was curious what it would do to the implementation approach. I have no idea. We'll look at the code, right? I have no idea if this made it better or not. The XP was one that, and this is something I was thinking about today, and I'm curious about, of like, what kind of, because the way LLMs work, right? At least one of the ways it works, it's all activations. You have words that are coming in, tokens that are coming in that activate aspects of the model, right? Because of how it's trained. It's making the connections, this, that, and the other thing. And I was thinking, like, how do you write context or prompts that have the right activation so that you are more likely to get the results that you want? And this is one where so what's your meme? What's the meme that you're going to trigger the right connections in the bot? And it's kind of like, for me, and I don't know if this is true or not, but like XP, or write the code like Kent Backwood, or just, I don't know, like, what's your shortcuts to actually getting it more likely to do the right thing? I don't know if that's,
Well,
maybe
yeah,
that's
maybe.
so
I guess
totally evident, but that was at
I
least,
see what you're saying.
Shower
Yeah.
thoughts.
I think that see, for me, when doing the robot, because the robot's going to go and do some stuff, like the DDD makes more sense to me than the XP thing. So you're not mob programming with the fucking robot. The robot's doing its own thing.
Yeah, but XP, it's small testable changes, test-driven development. It's a lot of practices that are about making safe change.
I see what you mean. Yeah, so you want it to do tests first kind of vibe.
I wanted to do tests.
Yeah. There's the one thing that I haven't thought of. So when I've used AI to do to build stuff or to help me at work or in personal projects or whatever, I'm the one doing all the commits.
Mm-hmm.
If I just left it to its own devices, is it just going to go one shot and then like get add all commit done?
Yeah.
Right? I would like to see, like what you're saying, small, like I wanted I would love to see small changes that are compiling and testing
readable
over time.
Full test suite runs.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you.
Because then that also got me thinking about, okay, so I have this idea I want a main agent, I want it to do the thing, and then I want it to spin up some sub-agents to do quality control, and. But, like, what's your feedback loop for knowing if you're writing those things well?
Right.
And that's where it gets, I think that's just, like, that's really hard, actually. I don't know that they're, it feels almost magic. Like, if you hit on something, it's like, I don't know. That because with code I can just write tests.
Yeah. That's also the. I guess it depends. I think you have to. I think it probably you have to do this more and more to be able to do it. To be able to let the sort of iterations get bigger and bigger, right? Right. Because for me, when I do this, if it goes off and builds half the app and then asks me to look at it. Like that's a feedback. Like my brain is a bottleneck there. Like I can't ingest that in a reasonable amount of time. to be like, yeah, keep going, or no, stop, fix these things, right?
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, that's something to think about.
And yeah, it is, and that's probably what we'll encounter when we actually get into the code. Is like, this
right.
is
So we're about to come up against it.
We're about to be like, you know what? This is too hard to wrap my head around. No, I'm just gonna delete it.
I'm just gonna go do a crossword.
Yep. So then, this is cool. And actually, this wasn't output it created. It came up with essentially the ubiquitous language, right? The shared vocabulary between bakers and code. Things like recipe, baker's percentage, loaf weight, production day, bake schedule, scaling, dough weight. Yeah, it's not bad, actually. This is pretty good.
Huh. Cool.
Wow, there's a lot here. Do we want to go through all this, or should we get to the code?
Okay, yeah, this thing's detailed. Oh, wait, no, but I'm sorry. What I was saying is like all the way at the end, or is this the opened thing of the last thing where it's like, this is my plan, should I do it?
Yeah.
Like, what was the last thing it said to you?
Jesus Christ, there's a lot here. I didn't see any of this when this was happening. What was the last thing it said
Josh
to me?
didn't read through any of this shit. Just like, yeah, it sounds like
I
you did
told
your
you,
work. I don't know, man. Go.
Yeah, well, my experience of it was like, I kicked it off with like what you saw to be like a pretty small prompt. I answered questions. I was like, ooh, those are good questions. And then I just never looked at it again. Well, actually, that's not true. I opened the code and I was like, wow,
the
this looks
intern
pretty...
came back with a 50-page document and a PowerPoint, and Josh was like, hey, man, you clearly put some work in here, so I trust you.
You've been promoted to vice president.
That's how I got my job.
I know, bro. I know. Get big schedule query. So, yeah, actually, I'm scrolling past what feels like...
Okay, so right here, what does this say? This is all right.
It's complimenting itself on its design.
You fucking guys.
That's a
fucking
thorough
robots.
design. It says about itself. Let me review the key details and write the final plan. So it looks like actually the software... Whoa. The software went through...
Okay, well, to be fair to the robot, that's the king robot commenting one of its knights.
Oh, sub-agent, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Wow. So the sub-agent
robot.
The sub-agent got positive marks from its king robot.
I wonder if you do this long enough, do you end up with some like kind of team hierarchy developing?
Oh, definitely. It's like, oh, we gotta put just delete the prompt. Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, here comes John with his fucking work. Yeah.
Yep. So one of the sub bots came up with oh man, what is going on? So now we're starting to hit some of the React implementation of Claude actually, because I don't know if you're seeing the flickering or the jumping. It will show up in the
a little bit
final cut.
Yeah, it's already pixelated, so I'm probably not seeing it as much as you are.
Yep. That's a thorough design. Let me review the key details, and then it came up with the final plan, which it created a file, which is goofygatheringstarfish.md. This is another...
Goofy gathering. Oh, does it do like a Docker container kind of naming convention when it needs to fucking make things?
Yeah, it writes... it wrote the plan to an MD file, and then... but it was a temporary MD file that it presented to me, but then now it's gone. So it's not actually part of the history that I can read back through, and that's disappointing to me, actually. I would like to have that as an artifact. Key design decisions, domain model. There's 3 aggregates: recipe, starter type, and production day. The bake schedule is a computed value object, never stored. There's the core algorithm is a backward calculation from loaf count. So basically, the way this thing is designed is you'll give it a production schedule, and it will work its way backward in time and figure out what to produce when. So you'll give it kind of a total dough weight for different production elements, and then it will calculate the flour weight, individual ingredients, and then do the levain flour water adjustment and cross recipe levain aggregation. And that's also because you might be making different recipes but using the same starter, and that's going to impact your total starter.
Gotcha.
Multi-day timeline. So day D's worksheet pulls from 3 different production plans. The bake from day D, the mix from D+1, and the scaling and prep from D+2, reflecting the overlapping daily
using
cycle.
like variables and math.
Yeah. The architecture, hexagonal with pure domain layer.
Oh, perfect. God.
Hexagonal? This is why. Yes. Tell me, Ian, Tell me what you're feeling right now. Talk me through what's going on.
All I can hear is fucking Uncle Bob talking right now, and I'm getting angry.
Okay. Why?
A lot of his ideas are very good and sound.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about Robert Martin, author of Clean Code?
Yes. Uh-huh. There's this air of self-righteousness to a lot of stuff he says that
he's like, an arrogant motherfucker. Absolutely.
That, like, if you're not doing it this way, then you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
And that's just fucking not true in most cases. Like, there's a lot of things that guy says that I agree with. The one thing that I think, side tangent, which I do agree with, which is actually maybe very topical for today's day and age, is there's no regulation in our industry. Mm-hmm. And that's, for those of us who've been doing this for a long time, a good thing, probably. Okay. I don't know. I mean, for me anyways, I don't believe there should be or needs to be right now. But
I'm curious where you're going with this. Yeah.
Well, he made a point that if there are people who continue to not take what we do seriously, and those people are the same people who are putting software in cars or putting software in hospitals, something will eventually go wrong. Mm-hmm. The government will come in. They will analyze the situation, and then they will legislate some stuff.
Just like, I'm sorry, brother. Like, the legislators aren't coming, man. I got news for you. We got about a 60-year lead time on these dumbass mofos. Yeah. Like, if they were coming, they would have come. In 2001. I don't know. Yeah. If they're coming for anything,
it's been breaking a lot more recently in the last year and a half than it has in
software.
I swear to God, the 10 years prior. What?
Yeah, I mean, I think pace of change, right? It's both like the pace of change. Change leads to breakage, right? This will be a recurring theme in what we talk about, and what we're looking at is actually safe change, making change safely, and for sure. The rise of agentic coding, like as we've already seen, is leading to making change incredibly unsafely, and in ways that feels good. Yeah, man, it looks good. Cool. All right, ship it. Approved. I mean, and don't get me started on why merge. Well, it's like and maybe one of my biggest rage, clickbait, whatever is that MRs are the language of change in an agentic world, and that's up.
So pull requests or merge requests or whatever come from open source development where people are working across time and space asynchronously.
They're working across space-time.
Space-time. No, but like seriously, across time zones in different regions in different parts of the world to build software that is not their full-time job. Yep. So they, I might, in my spare time, make a change, and I need Josh to look at it, but he's not here right now, and he won't be able to until Friday of next week. So that's where pull requests came from, and
it makes perfect sense for that use case. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most software teams who are building stuff are not in that situation. And when I say most, I mean like 98%.
It's also, this is how the models are trained. So there's something about how the agents are now thinking about coding.
Yeah.
That this is embedded in their mental model, or mental model is probably the wrong term, but this is embedded in their model of change, which is
in their memory, in
their memory and their activations and whatever the training is like, in their fine tuning.
Every aspect of their existence, basically, it's like it's entrenched.
It's entrenched. It's entrenched and intrinsic. Obviously, like, I don't know what the fucking consequences are of that, but there are consequences in terms of making safe change. I don't know. Anyways, shower thoughts. Shower thoughts, by the way, in case you were wondering, just means I don't actually have a complete or coherent thought around it, but I think it sounds cool and I want to talk about it. Shower thoughts. Maybe that'll be my my catchphrase.
That's your catchphrase?
Got it. What were we talking about again?
What were we talking about?
Did forget.
I think we were at the point where so I think we've covered. Sorry, yes, this all started because you showed me hexagonal pure domain layer, and I got angry.
Folks, we're coming to the close of the episode here. I've got
I think we got time to look at some code. I think we can.
We definitely have time to look at some code. So I approved the plan. I don't remember what it was. I can't see what it was. The plan is lost in history, but it looked great. It was a markdown document with a bullet list. Trust the plan.
Yep. Trust
The
the plan.
tool made some to-do lists. Here's what it did in order. Set up the project. Made a recipe aggregator, and it was writing unit tests as it went. And
Nice.
we'll take a look at the tests. Yada yada yada. Did some hexagonal architecture, ports and adapters and things like that. Set up Postgres, set up the API endpoints, and then did a little bit of deployment, Dockerized it, and deployed it. Did it, and came up with stuff. Oh, and then I used. I mean, this is like nitpicking. I used poetry, and I'm like, use UV instead. It's cooler. Which I don't know if you...
At least it used one of those things. I was fantasizing about screaming it, coming in here and seeing a requirements.txt file, and I was gonna flip my desk.
Hey, nothing wrong. It's like that's actually that does suck.
It's 2026.
Yeah.
You better. You better get on board.
It's still what?
This is my biggest gripe about Python is tooling. Like, it's not great. But at least UV and poetry are better than
The Rust implemented tooling has gotten really it's much better. I enjoy it much more. I mean, I really liked poetry when it came out for what it did compared to what came before, which is just like, how do I even get this thing in my Python path? That was like,
yeah.
Anytime it would be like anytime I'd set up a project, it would be at least half a day figuring out how to get the tests to reference things in the right way without actually installing. Oh my gosh.
Why are these imports not working? Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Classic. And then it did a bunch of implementation, and I don't think we were having much interaction here. This is all just what it did, and then got to the gist. All slices are complete. Bread mapper complete. 105 tests across 4 layers, which was
let's look at them
core,
though.
the domain value, domain models. We'll get into them. Domain services, the application, and the API. Here are the key files.
Is this going to be like heavy OOP? Did you give it any
no idea
instructions?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah.
Should I look at some Python OOP, aka poops?
It is quite possible. Yep. So it did it, committed it. Oh, then I told it to build a web UI, but I canceled that. I'm like, wait, I gotta save that first off. Okay, cool. So there you have it.
Enough.
And then for whatever reason, it's again, this is kind of maybe crappy.
Why does it say that?
Yeah, crappy React interface because it's not actually doing anything. I've tried to stop it.
Oh, okay. Times. Did it say clouding and now it says Euclideing?
Cogitating, synthesizing. This is how Claude. This is the cheeky way Claude tells you that it's doing work.
What do we got here? It really did separate some things out here. We got a domain folder, an application folder, and an API folder.
Yeah, what'd you like to look at first? Let's pair program it. A domain has models, services, and value objects. Should we look at our value objects? Oh, these are tests. Sorry, that's test land.
Wait, I thought you said you switched to UV. I still see a Pi project.
UV
or does UV also use Pi project?
Yep, sure does.
Oh, nice, smart.
Where's my command line, Tom? Where's my Toml formatting?
Yeah, let me see. Let me just look. Let's just peruse the Pi project for a quick second, just to see what we got here. All right, so we're using Fast API, SQL Alchemy, boo.
Okay.
Pydantic, yay.
See if I can get a Toml formatter in here. I thought I had that.
Ooh, MyPy, boo.
Even better.
So something I learned about MyPy recently.
Okay.
It'll just background anytime it thinks it doesn't see something, and won't tell you.
What do you mean? Background.
So like if you're using types in your Python, right? It'll default things to any. Like I thought that so I was under the impression that you could like TypeScript or like a lot of other static type checkers. Well, TypeScript's not TypeScript's a compiler, but a lot of other static type checkers. You could just not specify return types on a function, and it would infer it. MyPy will not. MyPy will say, "Oh, you're just returning any." Yeah. That. Anyways, so I switched to Pyrite, which is way better.
We switched to what?
Pyrite.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, it's really it's pretty good. Yeah.
But does it do compilation phase? Because that's kind of my understanding of why TypeScript can do that.
No, it's still Python. Like there's no other way to do it. It's still static type checking. It's just that its ability to infer things is 10x what MyPy can.
Okay. And does that show up in the runtime, or is this kind of an IDE thing?
No. This is an IDE. This is a development thing, so you can run type check or whatever you set your make file to, or you can just run poetry run or a UV run Pyrite, and it'll tell you what you've done wrong with your types.
Gotcha.
So yeah. But other than that, I agree with these choices, Robot, for the most part, except for SQL.
All right, good. Robot picked okay libraries. Tell it to use Pyrite instead of MyPy. Okay. Cute. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's see the Docker. I'm just curious about the Docker file. So and app install. I'm not sure. This is Postgres. What is this? libpq? No idea.
libpq. Oh, that's you need that. You need that on your system to be able to for Postgres. If it's using the
it feels like a Postgres thing.
PsychoPG binary, which is definitely what you want to use instead of the wheel or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah.
Fucking wheels.
Wheels. This is one total nitpicking. Just there's no health check for the database coming up when you run it. It will fail. But
I'm okay with that. I'm big on failing fast.
No, I mean it won't wait for the database to come up. So it won't wait if you start. Okay. This is a minor Docker Compose. This is a known problem. This claude.md it wrote. So it wrote its own instructions to itself.
UV environment Python pip install. Okay.
Yeah.
Run the tests like this.
So one of the things.
App.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do what it says. Let's see what happens when we do what it says.
Yeah. Oh, that's Let's check its work.
I mean, checking its work. Okay, that worked. So it was able to do that. Let's see
successfully
how the
installed all the dependencies.
Yep.
All right. Running the tests.
All right.
Do you need a local Postgres or something? Or is it all just stubbing Postgres?
I don't know, man. I'm just doing it so this is just running the test, running the server.
Okay, we just got 105 greens in like under a second. I'm gonna go ahead and say this thing is not connecting to a test database.
No, I don't think so. Let's see. So
these are all unit tests. Are there any integration tests and/or end-to-end tests?
There are. Hey, well, okay, let's take a look. There are, but so there are application tests. Test get big schedule.
You know what's crazy? I don't think I've seen the term value object in over 10 years. But okay.
Okay. Is that okay. All right, cool. So it's using an in-memory database as an abstraction. I think it's actually
what's the in-memory but is it okay. What's the in-memory database?
Yeah, let's just take a look. In-memory production day repository. Production day repository, domain ports production day repository. In memory, so there's going to be then a non.
I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all.
Okay.
I don't like this at all. This fucking robot. This is the sort of shit.
Okay. So
we're gonna write some tests. If we're gonna write some tests that depend on a database, we don't go in there like a surgeon and cut out the database and just put in a thing that just returns what we need. No, bad.
But is this just returning what we need? So my question number one for you, at least this is using, where is the actual, this is from the ports, domain ports production database. So it's essentially production day repository. This is just an abstract interface, essentially.
For me, correct me if I'm wrong, but what this looks like to me is so it's using some sort of repository pattern, and it's for testing, it's stubbing that or mocking
It is. It's.
Yeah.
I don't think it's mocking it. I think it's creating an in-memory implementation of a repository. So as opposed
so
to
you are
adapting...
immediately right. So there is stuff that happens with your repository code and your Postgres connection, and that stuff's kind of important.
Indeed.
And there are also like migrations and like there are types and other things that happen in Postgres that will have very serious implications with your application. If you are not exercising those during tests, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion.
Sure.
In some way.
So-
Not for all tests. I'm not saying all your tests have to have that. What I am saying is that you should at least have some tests where you connect to a test database. It runs the migrations you have to get all your tables in place. It may or may not have to seed some data, and then run some tests.
Yep. Gotcha.
I don't think there is no world in which I would deploy an app without having done that.
Yeah, I think so.
I get why it's doing this, because don't get me wrong, that was a fast test week. That was
let's
lightning fast.
Pew! 0.35 seconds.
How many seconds does it say?
0.35.
0.35 seconds, 100 tests.
0.35 seconds. Well, we haven't actually
We
even looked at
optimized for fast tests.
We haven't really looked at any of the tests, and I think to give back like what Ian just said in alternate language is there's no integration tests, right? Well, a couple of noticings. One, this infrastructure folder, I'm not really sure what that means in this context. At least it means mapping to things that aren't part of this system, right? So the database, essentially. One thing I noticed is there are no tests, actually. So at least for that aspect of the system. And but the bot made like copy the structure, but it's all just a init.pys, right?
Right.
Noticing.
What's under domain? Oh,
domain model.
There's your value objects.
Yep. So this is a fun one. Country sourdough. Oh yeah, let's make a country sourdough. So it's testing whether you can create a recipe or not, and it's just obviously this is a super object oriented design. Value objects. Is this a super object or are these data classes?
I don't know. I mean, it's more than I would do, which is to say it's greater than 0.
Well, but I mean, you must have to. How would you, Ian, hold data together? Hold a data structure together. What would you use?
Oh, I'm a big So So technically, those are objects and classes and stuff. But I use the equivalent of like what I consider to be structs. So like a pedantic models. Which recipe might be a pedantic model. Can you click into that? See if it was smart enough to use pedantic for that. What's it inheriting from? No recipe.
Nothing.
Okay, but no.
Oh, it's a data class.
No,
it's a data class.
Yeah, See, so data classes. So pedantic does runtime validation instead of which data classes don't. Data classes are good for specifying what something is, but if you could say like this is the price is an integer. And then at runtime, you just make it a string. Doesn't matter. It doesn't care.
Well, welcome to Python.
Yeah, right.
Baby. Welcome to Python. I'd like to close with a message from our sponsor. Our sponsor today, Funny Fart, the makers of Funny Fart. Fart in a can. Are you in a boring long Zoom meeting? Well, let off a fart. Funny Fart. Over to you.
Funny Fart. God, we are not being paid by these people, just so everyone knows.
By the way,
to be clear.
And just to be clear, we're about to receive our first cease and desist letter from the makers of Funny Fart. Ian, thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday morning. Your Sunday morning, getting
Sunday
up early.
morning for me, Sunday afternoon for you. Yeah, buddy, this is great. This is good.
Yeah, always a pleasure. I guess we didn't get into our deep. Well, actually, let's get into our deep. So let's wrap up the episode. Anything learning? Any reflections and learnings that you had on this episode? Anything to share?
Other than we gotta figure out why you're pixelated for me. It sounds like an Ian problem.
You look great.
It might have to do with I have all 3 children streaming right now.
Could be.
Yeah.